Cong Wang's the UFC debutante. She's taking on Victoria Leonardo, who's 1-3 so far in her UFC run. And Wang, she's undefeated. She's 5-0 coming out of China, and she's someone that already has a really high level pedigree. She started out in Wushu Sanda and was an amateur world champion in that sport, which a lot of Chinese fighters start there. And then she also transitioned to boxing, won a silver medal at the 2019 Worlds in boxing. So she has a really lethal combination of striking arsenals. And in kickboxing, she has an 8 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw record. So she's never lost in a pro fight yet, MMA or kickboxing. And in those 9 fights, she had a draw with Tiffany Timebomb Van Soest, who, if you know about female kickboxing, she's one of the better female kickboxers ever. And she also beat Neely Block, who's a 4-time kickboxing Muay Thai world champion. And she even beat Valentina Shevchenko as well. So those fights were a while back, and she hasn't had a kickboxing fight since 2018. So, but I still put a lot of stock into that experience and those wins and just her skill level to be able to do that. But she came back in 2022 after not fighting kickboxing or MMA at all, and she had her first MMA fight. She's gone 5-0 since then and had 3 finishes, 2 submission wins, and her grappling looks decent, which is obviously what you want to see out of someone that is coming in as a kickboxer. And she has fought some alright competition as well. So she's actually coming in here with the deceptive record because she beat Wu Yanan, who's a UFC veteran, and she beat Paula Luana on the Road to UFC show in pretty dominant fashion, who's another decent Brazilian prospect. So even though she only has 5 fights, she does have a couple good wins on top of all the other experience that she has. And she's been active, which is a big advantage in contrast to opponent Victoria Leonardo, who she's kind of had a rocky run. I thought she retired, but coming back after a year off, or a year plus, like a year and a few months, and her losses in the UFC have come to really good fighters like Manon Fiorot, Melissa Gatto, Natalia Silva, and her one win was against Mandy Bohm, who's not in the UFC anymore. So it's kind of tough to see her beating someone of this level. I mean, you look at Cong Wang, super fast. I mean, great feints. She's controlling the range so well. She has really good check hooks, rear crosses, and real pinpoint combinations. She'll mix heavy leg kicks, teeps to the body, but really her hands are what are her go-to strikes. And for fighter to beat Kang, I feel like, or Wang, they're going to have to be an elite grappler or have a great chin, super high volume, and just cut the cage off and make it a war. But I just don't see that happening here. I mean, even on the inside, Kong is very, very comfortable there, composed. She'll throw really nasty elbows. And she isn't a big power hitter, but she has a really high output. And she goes for the kill when she sees you're kind of starting to wilt. And her wrestling actually looks good too. So that's what you would imagine would be her deficiency. And but she's good at getting out of the clinch, working the underhook game, and her grappling looked good in her last fight with Paula Luana. I mean, she was able to catch a kick, bring it to the ground, quickly moved into the mount, got a guillotine, and finished the fight. So if she can continue to progress those skills on the ground, she could be a really, really good fighter because her cardio looks good, her striking is obviously elite, and if she can grapple, then there's not much that people are going to be able to do to her. For Victoria, I mean, she's evasive, and she'll throw a solid jab. She'll mix in some combinations on the inside and try to make it grinding. Her cardio is good, but I just don't really know what she could do here. She's going to try to use her wrestling, but I just don't think she's going to be able to take down Kong. From what I've seen, she's small for 125. I mean, she is really tough, though. Like, she was coming forward in that Natalia Silva fight, even though she ended up getting knocked out in the first round and paying for that, she was very aggressive. But unfortunately, she's kind of turned into a girl that the UFC gives to fighters that they see star potential in, I feel like, and they think that Leonardo's going to be a test, but if you are going to be that next level type of fighter that they expect you to be, you're going to have a highlight reel performance against her. So I think Cong Wang is probably going to get Leonardo out of there. I think she'll be able to maybe have Leonardo hang tough early, but round 2, round 3, I think she'll be able to knock her out or submit her on the ground. So I'm going with Cong Wang inside the distance. If you look at Leonardo, the majority of her losses are via finish, and I just think Kong's going to be pouring it on and kind of overwhelm Leonardo and get her out of there. So give me Cong Wang and get this one done. I'll say round 2 TKO.